Hi, welcome everyone. This is an update on the $6.5 billion electric power project in Nigeria. This project was started in order to boost the transmission capacity of the TCN and also to improve power generation. A lot of you have been demanding an update on the project to know how far the project has gone, to know if the project will meet the set targets and all that. Well, the update is a mixed one. For those who didn't watch the first video, you can find the link in the video description. There are new developments on the project, and the principal partner, Siemens AG of Germany, have pulled out of the project. Yeah, they are no longer part of the project. The reason for the pullout is because they felt that the conditions Nigeria set for the execution of the project wasn't favorable to them. For the fact that Siemens is bringing capital and expertise, they felt that the benefiting country shouldn't be dictating terms. The reason rich countries like China, United States, and in this case Germany, finance projects in other countries is because of the value that the project will add to their own economy. When projects of this scale that runs into billions of dollars are financed by a country, they expect that the project will benefit their economy. For instance, if there are equipment or machinery required for the execution of the project, they will be manufactured in their home country, which helps in keeping manufacturing jobs alive, and those companies will also pay taxes in their country. Overall, the benefits are too many. That's why rich countries finance projects in other countries at near zero interest rates. So coming to the demands made by the Nigerian government that made Siemens to back out of the project. The Nigerian government demanded that about 40 to 50% local content must be applied on the project. You already know what local content means. Since 2010, Nigeria has had a Local Content Act. So all companies that do business in Nigeria are expected to follow the Local Content Act, especially those in the oil and gas industry. So this demand became a stumbling block, and Siemens' participation in the project was put on hold. As explained by the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, too much local content can cause projects to fail if there are no industrial or manufacturing capacity in the country that is demanding the local content. It might lead to the project not being delivered on time, or it might suffer from other unforeseen circumstances. This is very important because most high voltage transmission equipment are not manufactured in Nigeria. They are all imported. There's also the issue of funding for the project. Once a question has been raised about a project, it becomes more difficult to get funding for it, especially when the project is being executed in another country. So number one reason for the pullout is the 40 to 50% local content that the Nigerian government demanded, and the second reason is funding. Well, that's not the end of the project, because remember that the World Bank and Africa Development Bank are also funding some of these power and transmission projects. We'll see the level of work done so far in a moment. Could the government have handled it better, the whole negotiations with the German government and Siemens? Well, without knowing the full details of the negotiations, one can't say for sure. When two governments are trying to make a deal, everyone tries very hard to protect his own country. That's what patriotism is all about. You protect the interest of your own country. So while the German government and Siemens are protecting the interest of their country, the Nigerian government is equally protecting their interest. It's a matter of getting to the middle ground, which they don't seem to have done. They both failed because they didn't reach a deal. Siemens lost a contract worth billions of dollars, and Nigeria lost an enormous opportunity to solve our power shortages. Nigeria's economy has suffered and continues to suffer from the lack of constant power supply. No huge economy in the world runs on generators. For you to be competitive in the world, you must have access to cheap power. Generators are more expensive to run, They require constant maintenance, and worst of all, they pollute the environment, which makes our air quality very poor. And because the power supply is very unreliable, people are forced to use generators in their homes, which exposes them to the CO2 fumes from these generators. The citizens do not understand negotiations. They don't even care how you go about it. What they understand and care about is constant power supply. They don't understand contract numbers and technicalities. They just want to flick the light switch and it comes on. Flick the air conditioner, fridge, in the workplace, at home, on the streets with illuminated street lights and traffic lights. They just want a stress-free life devoid of the noise pollution from generators. They simply want to enjoy life like other people where power is constant. It is not clear why sacrifices were not made to ensure the deal pulled through. What is clear though is that solving the power shortages have never been a top priority of successive administrations in Nigeria. Because if it were, the problem would have been solved by now. Fixing the epileptic power supply should be taken as a top priority. Why have they not gotten a loan to fund it? It's easy to get a huge loan to fix all the transmission problems that prevents the TCN from supplying all available power to the discos. Or if for any reason they can't get a loan to fix it, what about capturing it in the national budget? If you've got money to fund a project, you dictate the terms, He who pays the piper dictates the tune. If funding for the project is available, just give the contract to Siemens and they will do the job on your terms. You can now give them all the conditions and terms that you want. You tell them that everything that is needed for the project that is manufactured in Nigeria must be purchased in Nigeria. That they can only import what is not manufactured in Nigeria. We have reputable companies that manufacture power cables in Nigeria. Their products are even better than what is obtainable abroad. It's good to protect local manufacturing jobs. So it's quite easy, it's quite simple, and still not late. They can get funding for the project and do it right now. Politicians always want to be remembered for something that they did while in office. It might be a project or a huge policy change. They like to have their names embedded on many projects, So why is there no politician willing to take credit for solving the power shortages in Nigeria? From Obasanjo, who spent billions of dollars, to Yaradua and Goodluck Jonathan, and now Buhari. Time is running out. Can Buhari still perform magic? Well, maybe the reason politicians over the years couldn't solve the power problem is because they don't really care. Most offices of politicians enjoy 24-hour power supply at the expense of the budget that would have been spent in other developmental projects. Their homes also enjoy 24-hour power supply. Most of them never spend their personal money to buy diesel or petrol to power their generators. They are all covered in the allowances that they earn. They don't feel the pinch that fellow citizens experience, having to spend daily on petrol to power your business and home. They don't ever experience it. Most of them do not live in apartment blocks where the noise of generators can drive one crazy. Many government agencies have up to 3 or 4 giant power generators that all contribute to the huge recurrent expenditures and overheads. They ultimately contribute to why certain government services are expensive. It's a pity that Siemens pulled out of the project and the timeline set for achieving certain megawatts of power generation and transmission capacity will no longer be tenable. But all hope is not lost because the Transmission Company of Nigeria is working seriously on major upgrades of the power infrastructure. Remember, in the first video, it is not only Siemens that is contributing the funds required for the project. The World Bank and Africa Development Bank are also financing the project. So they are making use of what they have, but would that be enough to stop the power cuts? We'll have to wait and see. But it looks like those targets will not be met without a project like that of Siemens. Otherwise, why did they make the deal in the first place? If they knew beforehand that loans from the World Bank and Africa Development Bank would be sufficient for the power upgrades, why did they approach Siemens? So we'll just have to wait and see if there will be a significant improvement next year. Let's see some of the projects that are going on and the ones recently completed by the TCN. They've done the double 60 MVA gas insulated substation, which is part of the transmission ring project around Abuja. The 330 kV quad lines from Aloji in Abia State through Owerri and Ihala substation to Awada substation in Onitsha metropolis is ongoing, and the transmission lines cover 138 kilometers. These projects are among those funded by the Africa Development Bank. There's a double 60 MV 132/33 kV substation at Gagarawa in Jigawa State. There's the one in Kaduna, Oka, Abakaliki. The Ikorodu-Shagamu 132 kV double circuit transmission line has been completed. There are also reinforcements of many transmission stations around the country. There's a 100 MVA transformer installed in Rumosi in Rivers. In Ikeja West Papalantu transmission station, there's a new 300 MVA transformer installed, 60 MVA transformer for Okene transmission station, and many others. Yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot of power upgrades, but these numbers don't interest people. In fact, they bore them. What interests people is constant electricity. Whenever you flick a light switch, the bulb should come on. The bulb should just light up, no excuses. We're in 2021 and very soon 2022. How long will the Nigerian economy be on its knees because of inadequate power supply? What they are trying to do is transmit the power from where it is generated to where it is needed, directly to the consumer. But getting the national grid to run at full capacity is actually the major cause of the power cuts. The second being distribution. There's also the issue of vandalism of some of the power lines. Recently, some power transmission towers were destroyed in the northeast. This isn't an easy job. That's why they should have made sure the Siemens deal was executed at all costs. The TCN is trying their best, ramping up the transmission, and in order to fully control or wheel the power to wherever it's needed, they need their supervisory control and data acquisition system to access 100% of the GENCOs. Right now, they can only access about half of that, but this is part of the $486 million World Bank sponsored project. So when it is completed, the energy management system will improve. Another way of improving power supply is to expand what they are doing in various markets. They need to expand them even further in the cities. They need to improve distribution because most local transformers are overloaded, causing residents to receive very low current. In order to improve distribution further, the DISCOs should consider new transformers for new residential blocks. Before new residential blocks can have access to power supply, they will need to buy a transformer that will support their load. The town planning authorities should also be involved so that builders can integrate transformers in residential blocks during their design stages. Okay, wonderful viewers, happy holidays in advance, and for those who haven't subscribed yet, you can subscribe to our channel now and enable notification. Till next time, bye bye.